Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's time to have a go at the ScrawlrChallenge for February 2023. I'm so excited about this box. It's set to be one of my favourites. I mean, it's very rarely that I'm disappointed with a Scrawler box, but some stand out as being particularly up my alley, and this is one of those. Let me show you. So if you haven't seen, this is just what I've been scribbling away at. If you haven't seen, I've already decanted the supplies onto my little grubby little Scrawler, but I think I'm going to have to decorate my Scrawler pencil case, get my Poscas out or something, or I won't worry about it and I'll just let it wear its adventures on its sleeve. So this is what we got. There's a brush, there's these gorgeous Daler Rowney System 3 Fluid Acrylics, which I am totally in love with, and I'm going to have to go and get more colours. You can use them in lots of different ways, which I'll show you in a minute. And then there's also this permanent marker. I was a bit confused by this because I thought, oh, it's just going to be like an alcohol based thing, but it's not. It's water based, it's permanent, and you had to shake it and pump it to prime it like you do with a paint pen. I did find that if I was quick I could also activate it with water, and therefore I could mix it with these, which gives me a lot more scope for colours and things. Then we got this Canson multimedia pad. You can see the texture there. It's quite heavyweight, 300 GSM. It's really nice. Here's the little menu card. Organic Origins is the challenge. Here's the artwork by the featured artist. Oops, Kerry Lemon, who just she looks amazing. I must look her up. One of my online friends was telling me she actually has done a workshop with Kerry and it sounded amazing. Yeah, so I must look into that because I'd love to do that too. And then we've got the zine and the sticker. So that's what we've got in the box. I've got a couple of different ideas I want to try out. So one thing I want to do is I'm going to use the box and use the tissue and do like a 3D, like a springtime wreath. Like a little wreath, and I will use parts of the box to support it and make the branches and things. I want the tissue for that as well because I need the tissue for some of the flowers and things. Play around with the paints, cover several different sheets with all the different ways that I can use these supplies and all the different colours that I can get, and then cut everything up and sculpt it to make this wreath. Here are some of the swatches that I did the other day. So you can use these as with water as a wash like this. See how vivid and my camera never does justice to the vibrancy of colours. Believe me, they are way more vibrant even than they look there. You can mix them on the page. You can just apply them directly, just squeeze them out and apply them directly, almost like a pen. This is the black, the permanent marker. This is mixing the black with the yellow. And one of the things I love the most is, I hope the camera's going to let me show you this. So where I dotted it straight out of the bottle, even though it's fluid acrylic, I think you can see just there, it's dried with still raised, so it's very tactile, and I think that's what set off my first idea, which was to do a mandala, because I've always fancied having a go at dot mandalas. So then I thought, I went away from dot mandalas, but I thought kind of like a flower mandala. I think if you Google it, a lot of people do these with actual flowers and then take photos of them. But I quite like the idea of just doing leaves and flower shapes. I'm going to cheat and use a few extra brushes to give me more scope. And I was going to cheat and do it on this big paper, but I thought, well, we'll give it a go on the smaller paper, and I'll just do half the mandala. So I'm going to just use one sheet for that, and then pretty much the rest of these I'm going to need them all to make my wreath. So I'm going to put all of this to one side for a minute. I was going to go and get the tissue. So I've just used a compass. You can do this by just drawing around find lots of circular objects in different sizes, and I tend to find it easier to start with the biggest one and work in, because then you can see to place your circle straight. But since I've got a compass, I might as well use it. So I'm just going to set myself a point. Excuse me, still sounding croaky and snotty. I've had this thing hanging around for weeks now. No, it's not COVID. So I've just made myself a little dot, and rather than do it in the middle, because I wouldn't have very much space, I'm going to imagine that this is the centre of my paper. So I just want to start off with a fairly small circle and then go a bit bigger, bit bigger, bit bigger. So I end up with lots of concentric circles. I'm not a mandala expert. I'd like to do more of them though, and there are lots of amazing people who do incredible mandalas and know all the symbolism and everything. Some of these lines I'll end up not really using. Sometimes I wish I had another line. Okay. So when I drew this one out, which is good because I used the ballpoint pen that we got in last month's school box actually, because that was still in my journal app downstairs. So I did my concentric circles and then I did a line going all the way through, going through my centre dot vertically and horizontally across the paper. So so in effect my vertical line is this. I need a horizontal line. I just wish we had bigger paper. Honestly, if I had any say in it, which of course I don't, if there was a choice, I would choose to have an extra pen or something in the Scrawler box and just not have the paper. Although we'd get to try some lovely papers, which is nice. But I kind of got so much paper already and I always feel limited by the small size. It's great for swatching on and just trying out your ideas, but I always want a bigger bit. Having said that, I suppose, to be fair, I have discovered some of my most favourite papers from trying out these small pads, so yeah. Okay, so then the next thing, so imagine I've got, this is a vertical line, that's a horizontal line. The next thing was to do the sections in between. I want a few sections in between. So I'm basically going to go to one of these rings where it would be crossing over with that vertical line, and I'm just going to make an arc across here like that. So that's from this ring, I've made an arc. So then I'm going to go from this ring on the horizontal line and make another arc so they cross. And then where those two lines cross in the middle, I'm going to join it up. Oh, missed. Oh, I'm a knob. Managed to do it perfectly easily sitting in front of the telly last night, and I can't do it sat at my work desk. To be fair, it is partly because it's always awkward doing things at an angle so that the camera can pick it up. So the idea is now that's bisected, that line. Out. Now I'll go for this ring. It doesn't really matter which ring it is, as long as you do it the same for both. I'm not explaining this very well. So now I'm going to follow that ring around, and where that ring intersects the horizontal line, I'll put them at the point of my compass again and do another one, and again where they cross will bisect these two. And if I had the other half of the paper there, I'd be carrying this right the way across. There we go. Sure, you probably remember this from school. I used to think geometry and things were like magic. I still do, really. So I'm going to work my way around, and I might even want more. I'm going to do that, and I'll come back when I'm ready to go on to the next step. Right, so I finished doing all my consecutive circles, and I've bisected them all, so there's quite narrow little sections here, and I've used my kneaded eraser just to take most of the graphite off so I can only just see it. Unfortunately, I first of all tried this one to take off my bisecting lines here, and it was a bit rough on the paper, so I've got marks there. So I'm hoping that won't affect the but you know, hey ho, this is just a bit of an experiment anyway. So now I'm ready to go in. I'm going to use my little kind of sketch as a starting point, but I probably will go way off of that. So I want to try first of all just mixing the paints and using them quite sort of washy, and then I will add details later, either direct from the, well, probably both. I shall use dots, and I shall use lines direct from the bottles, and I will paint fine lines as well. But first of all, I'm going to be using quite washy colour, and I think the first thing I want to do is mix a nice green. Just loving these paints. They are gorgeous. I just want all the colours now. one of my online friends in the Arty Farty Annie group on Facebook, Sue, I think it was Sue, she was saying that I think it's Casa, I've got a sale on these paints at the moment. Just saying. Let's just try mixing these together first, get a nice green, a nice leafy green. Beautiful. My camera does not do it justice, as I'm always saying. It's perhaps the lighting rather than the camera. So I'm just using those rings that I've drawn, and the lines that are fanning out I'm just using as a guide. Obviously these are meant to be quite, you know, organic shapes, so they're not going to be perfect and exactly the same as each other. Right, I better try the actual brush that came with, I guess. I think I'm done with that, and it was a really fun way to try all the different ways of using these supplies. Actually, I'm going to put it aside to dry because I really love the way that the dots dry with that with that raised texture to them. I was just looking at it wondering if I could squeeze any more rows of dots in anywhere, but I don't think I can. It would be overkill. So that's that one. I'm going to start on my my main piece now. Now I've had a good old warm up. So I'm gonna stop this video here for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again really soon. I've got so much in the pipeline, seriously, you'd be sick of me. Hope not. Paint everywhere.